Our planet, a living system full of useful resources, but also a delicate balancing act around using those resources sustainably. South Africa is home to more than 49 million people and the producer of more than 240 million aerosol cans annually. What happens to these cans when the product inside them is finished? Recycling culture is gaining traction in South Africa. But when it comes to aerosol cans, many people don't know that aerosol cans can be fully recycled. Metal recycling in South Africa is very well developed. 80% of metals are recycled. That means that nearly 200 million aerosol cans are recycled each year. But that still leaves close to 40 million that are being wasted. These recyclable cans are a valuable resource, which could be used in place of virgin aluminium and tin-plated steel. The amount of energy needed to mine aluminium, iron and tin is huge in comparison to what it takes to recycle them. If all the cans dumped last year had been recycled, they could have been used to make hundreds of valuable products like window and door frames, as well as other cans. The National Waste Management Strategy plans to create 69,000 new jobs, but this can only be done if these cans are recycled rather than ending up in the landfill. So why are consumers and industry hesitant to be actively involved in recycling aerosol cans?
Recycling is not a new idea, but the rate of adoption, particularly in South Africa, has been quite slow. While most people are aware of the need to recycle paper and plastics, there's still great mystery surrounding the recycling of aerosols.
One of the big challenges when it comes to aerosol recycling is that many of us don't understand how the process works.
Aerosol cans are made of recyclable tin-plated steel or aluminium. A lot of recycling happens in industry with offcuts and duds. Expired and damaged goods are recycled at retail level. Consumers can separate their waste for recycling, making sure that the aerosol cans are empty. Recycling uses less energy and is cheaper than using virgin material.
It is important that the consumers empty their aerosol cans completely. In other words, remove all pressure before you throw your can in the bin. And that small contribution will make a big difference to the aerosol recycling process downstream.
In 2008, the Waste Act introduced a process called the Waste Management Hierarchy. This process clearly details the different steps to take in order to deal with waste more effectively.
You gotta reduce, you gotta reuse, you gotta recycle every day. You gotta reduce, you gotta reuse, you gotta recycle every day.
Why should we care about recycling?
First of all, we are running out of landfill airspace, which means that quite soon we won't have anywhere to go with our waste. So therefore recycling is definitely one of the best options. So recycling waste that can be recycled will reduce the need for landfill airspace. Secondly, by recycling we will also reduce the need for natural resources and thereby we save the environment. And also some cost, because you don't have to necessarily mine for new minerals if you can just use recycled minerals from already used materials.
There are waste cans that are produced during manufacture, as well as offcuts of the metal. Those are collected and are baled and are sent back to Collector Can or African Detinning Works. They separate the tin from the base steel so that the tin can be recycled. The base steel is sent across to Aerosol for it to be reused. In terms of aluminium, the process is similar. The aluminium slugs are imported, so it can't go back to the manufacturer, but it does go to Hewlett's, who's an aluminium company in this country, and it is broken down there and reused in other products, for example, aluminium window frames and the like.
What happens at a scrapyard?
In a typical scrapyard, there's a number of levels to it. So from the waste collector who dominate the South African waste collection landscape, the individual collector is typically bringing his product into a buyback centre or possibly at a drop-off point for recyclables. And those will then work their way up through to one of the bigger yards, such as where we're sitting today, where there's ultimate separation, sorting of the material, and preparing it into a format, typically in a baled format, where it's been cleaned, where it's available then to a foundry, a company such as ours to recycle. So there are a lot of different levels through it, and they work differently depending on where the waste stream actually is taking place, whether you're taking aerosols out of a commercial or a consumer landscape. I'm with Hewlett's, which is in the aluminium business, and we focus more specifically on aluminium recycling, and I think a significant volume of aerosols are in aluminium packaging. So if we typically look at post-consumer scrap here, which is aluminium, there's a plastic component, a steel and an aluminium component, and where we play our role in the value stream is the recycling of the aluminium component. So in a typical scrap operation where consumer waste has been picked out through the waste stream, the type of aluminium in South Africa that's bought in by the scrap dealers would be typically a pure aluminium section like this, which, as we can see, has got no steel on it. Whereas that's the challenge for us, is that steel ring. But the scrap dealers in South Africa have trained their suppliers to actually remove this, and that steel piece will be recycled and the plastic piece will be recycled as well. So that's quite an important dimension for the consumer to be aware of, is that although it looks difficult to recycle, that actually the product is highly recyclable. But through the value chain, people need to know what they're doing.
How versatile is recycled aluminium?
It's a very pure aluminium, which is in the aerosol container. And that enables us to stream it actually into a number of different products. So in actual fact, that one could recycle an aluminium aerosol back into an aluminium beverage can.
Consumers who separate their waste at home can recycle very effectively. Municipalities and other organisations managing waste also have large recycling initiatives.
So this is our Gauteng MRF, and we have about 30,000 homes that give us their recyclables in a mixed bag. We collect it on a weekly basis, we bring it here, and from here we sort it into 17 or 18 different streams.
What is separation at source?
It's very simple, it's separating your wet from your dry waste. Now dry waste is everything that's packaging and mostly food packaging. So everything that you bring into your home is into some sort of packaging, and most of it is food packaging. So you separate your food from your packaging, and when you have a bin in your kitchen, instead of now only have one, you have two. So you take all your packaging into one bin, and then the rest of the waste into the normal black bin that goes with municipal trucks.
How do cans fit into the waste stream?
So cans are just one of the many streams that we deal with, and in the past it used to be a single stream because most of the cans were just a single type of metal. Now today it's turning into two streams because there's a lot of aluminium that's coming out of the can stream. So in the mixed bag of recyclables you now have your cans, it goes onto the sorting tables, and it gets picked up into two different streams. They are processed separately, they are baled separately, and they are sold separately.
Pick It Up, the city of Johannesburg's waste management entity, has thrown its full weight in support of the war on waste in an effort to fight against illegal dumping and littering. The mission is to change the mindsets of residents and businesses and get them to start recycling and separating at source. We now know that aerosol cans are fully recyclable, how we as consumers and industry should dispose of them, and what the aerosol recycling process entails. Let's take up the challenge and play our part in ensuring we use and dispose of aerosol cans correctly.
day.
Haha, here's the thing that you should understand. The bigger picture with an aerosol can. In daily life it plays a pivotal part. Let's check the process, we'll take it from the start. Inside the can is a gas called propellant. You press the nozzle down, product comes out. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Long time ago there used to be CFC, but we found out that it was bad for the environment. So aerosol ain't got no CFC. I said aerosol ain't got no CFC. Now here's the fact that you can be proud of. Material that the cans are made of can be recycled. This is great. We're talking about aluminium and tinplate.
You gotta reduce, you gotta reuse, you gotta recycle every day. You gotta reduce, you gotta reuse, you gotta recycle every day.
Don't do things that you know are bad. Make sure that you share this with your mom and dad. Don't pierce, don't squash, don't burn the can. Get rid of it the right way and make a stand. Before you throw your cans away, make sure that they are empty. Your life is not a game. Your life is not to play with. Reduce, reuse, recycle today. Let's keep the earth a beautiful place. Everybody needs to play their part, so let's all take this message to heart. Every year we use millions of cans. That's why recycling is part of the plan. Now take a moment, let the thoughts sink in. Haha.
You gotta reduce, you gotta reuse, you gotta recycle every day.